Up, everybody? Welcome to the Blue Collar Boardroom. We've got an exciting little, I called it the Laura Ingraham Fox News special. I got a lineup. We're going to talk about some insight I got from Tim Grover, Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant's coach, the dark side of winning. Man, I really relate to a podcast that I heard from Ed Milet, and I have some big insight because, you know, a lot of people have been hitting me up saying, Lee, what's the update on the fight? We got the Logan Paul fight. We got Jake Paul fight. And we're going to fight for the American dream with the fucking inflation. Oh, my God. I just had a conversation with the supply company and the price of nails, the price of plywood, builders going out of business. There's a big issue, and we're on the horizon of a massive collapse. So inside of this quick little live stream, I'm going to give you some, tips on how to turn attention into profit. I'm going to give you an update and my opinion on all these fights that are going on around the world. Here in Miami, we got Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul. Type in who you think is going to win between Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul. I'm going for Logan Paul. The guy probably doesn't have much of a chance. I don't know what the Vegas odds are. I think he's like a 2 or 3 to 1 underdog. You bet 100, you win 200 or 300 if you bet on Logan Paul, but he is a much bigger dude. We got a 44-year-old Floyd. He's been training for 3 years. And as one of these amateur fighters who's really found transformational experience in going to the gym, I guarantee you one thing. I'm going to be there watching. I've got a trip coming up to Costa Rica, but I do want to let everybody know kind of what's going on. We've got, the dark side of winning as a title. And, I want to kind of go into that before I go into anything else, because the dark side of winning is about the relentlessness. Tim Grover wrote a book called Relentlessness. And, realistically, that's probably the most important ingredient to getting attention and being known is to actually winning. And the secret to actually winning is hard work, training. And the problem with having big goals is that disruption always follows intention. I get that from my man, Myron Golden. For example, 5 years ago, I had this big idea to build a huge social media platform around the idea that we could help blue collars raise their status, build generational wealth, and learn how to really evolve in society. And it's really changed. But the first thing that happened was, as soon as I had these intentions, my main business suffered. And even though I was on the internet as an expert, I was having problems inside of my own business. Didn't have the leadership. I was trying to do everything, and many contractors suffer from this, like trying to do everything in their business thing and trying to take on too much without having the support of people around you. And I suffered. And the dark side is disruption always follows intention. And what happened next was I went deeper and deeper into a hole and had to walk myself out of a hole. And it's funny, there's a saying, pain is weakness leaving the body. And, you pay the price now for the results that you're going to get later. And I think that we live in an instant gratification society where there's too many people that are like the guys that just think that they can show up and beat people up. It's hilarious. Like, one thing about my comment on Jake Paul versus Tyrone Woodley, type in who you think's going to win. Yeah, Tyrone's been fighting for years and years. He's got, UFC championship belt in his history. But here's the thing. He hasn't spent as much time sparring and in the boxing ring as Jake Paul. For the first time, he's probably, standing sideways. He's not really used to the fact that, you're not going to be able to just knock people with, big hooks if you ever watch him. So my point is that even though Tyrone is definitely a better athlete and the best fighter that Jake's going to fight, Vegas has Jake as the person who's expected to win, because Tyrone's not a good boxer and he's a wrestler. And there's still a legitimate fact that actually Jake's got a lot more boxing experience than Tyrone. That's why he's the favorite. And so, I look at all the time that people have told me that I couldn't do something. And let me tell you something. Today I was on a run. I'm like, man, they don't want me to have that 13-passenger jet. They don't want me to have that baby blue jet. My man Jeremy was talking about working out inside the same gym that Jake Paul worked out in. And he was in there pumping iron. And this is a story that kind of anchors in what it takes to win. But the law of attraction is about, putting your thoughts and feelings behind your dreams and believing that you can achieve them. And Jeremy's in there talking about how Jake Paul's like, they don't want me to have that baby blue Lambo. They don't want me to have that baby blue Lambo. This is long before Jake Paul, the boxer. These kids were making 8 figures a year through their YouTube channels before they ever were professional fighters. And now Jake's the 3rd highest paid boxer, earning $20 million over his last so he's the 3rd highest paid boxer this year. My point is, guys, we live in a society where it's important to learn how to turn attention into profit. And, the consequence of winning is everybody else, they don't want to do the work. They don't want to make the sacrifice. Every time the world throws up that natural resistance, they quit. And everybody wants an excuse. And so we live in a crabs in a bucket society where it feels a lot better if you will, what do they call it? Cancel that motherfucker. Cancel that culture. And we live in this cancel culture, and it's not just about being woke, but it's about, the fact that the guy that's the business owner, that's the entrepreneur, is always the evil guy. The reality is the dark side of winning requires you to hold the line. I was just at an Arte event, and Joe Montana was speaking about winning championships. This year, there was a lot of changes in his locker room. He was talking about how the best defensive player of all time that he'd ever seen in his locker room was in contract negotiations, and he was alienating the team. And this guy, Charles Haley, got kicked off of the San Francisco 49ers. And, that year, the 49ers won the Super Bowl. And as a Dallas Cowboys fan, I know how impactful Charles Haley was to the Dallas Cowboys. He went on to win Super Bowls with the Dallas Cowboys. They were able to take that personality, get him in alignment. But perhaps after Charles Haley got kicked out of the locker room in the way he did, and he didn't win the Super Bowl, maybe he was a little bit more humble the next time. Because the dark side of winning is that sometimes you have to hold the line. You have to be the bad guy for the better of the team. That people all have egos. People, always, really, they feel like you step on their feet so they can step on yours. But most people don't even realize that other people ain't even thinking about you. And so, if you're looking for an update on our upcoming event that we have going up, I don't know if you know, but, there's been some people on the internet. Maybe you saw on Roofing Insights, Dimitri, he asked everybody who would like to see Lee Haight and I in a cage fight. And, I respect the content over there at Roofing Insight. There's been some beef back and forth. Storm chasers versus local roofers. Look, I'm a storm catcher. I'm sort of a hybrid in between. Sometimes you could look at it like capitalist versus socialist. I hate to say it that way, but the reality is I'm about building wealth, and sometimes that's demonized by a lot of people in this society. And they can't just understand that if my purpose in life is to help as many people in this earth, have the American dream. And whether that's through the modern day gold rush of home service contracting, in solar, in roofing, or maybe it's being a general contractor, I don't really care. I just want to inspire, demonstrate, and be a vehicle for changing people's lives. That gives them more confidence, helps them live to higher fulfilled purpose, and helps them end some of the mental illness. I've struggled with depression, anxiety. I've been labeled ADD. And, frankly, even though I've won, I'm really, really hard on myself. And that's one of the dark side of winning that people don't talk about. Is every single time I lost, think about, for instance, a good friend of mine that had 5 salespeople that walked out my door. I hadn't really talked to him in the last 4 years. I overlooked promoting him to general manager, and he held it against me to this day. The next year he left with 4 sales guys. I didn't have a way to recruit salespeople, and I was humbled. That was one of my biggest losses, and I was pissed off at myself. And continuously. I still look back at the situation sometimes and think, wow, you could have done things way differently. But the reality is that the dark side of winning sometimes is what pushes you to the light. And it was out of the pain of coming off of that cruise, about to take a week-long vacation, but I got off a week-long vacation and I got the news that I lost $5 million in business, that a guy that I had working with me for 5 years as a top producer was leaving. He was taking people. He was taking jobs. I had to realize I had to build a brand. I had to learn how to automate the recruiting and training process. I knew that social media could be the answer. And so, if you're watching this right now and you're into this content and you want to know more about how, you can create your ideal life. First of all, I just want to encourage you to tell your story and have the courage to create more content. Turning attention into profit. Look, by building more of a personal brand for yourself, it doesn't matter if you're working for somebody else. It doesn't matter if you have hobbies. It's so funny. There's so many more people on YouTube making more money with me with the silliest hobbies, with the silliest things. Look at the kids reviewing toys, making millions of dollars a year. My son's YouTubers that he follows, they're the guys that are flipping all the time, that are, and you look at the content they create and how much money they're making. And so the reality is, guys, the American dream, you can get it. And if you enjoy cooking, then you can create content about cooking and create your American dream. My point is that I was just a regular roofer. I depended on door-to-door and word of mouth, regular contractor. And I found this newfound purpose to share my story, to help other people, and to create a lot of content. And so I've become this guide to help blue-collar entrepreneurs do that. It's funny, I was thinking about my man Patrick Carr, who's sat in that seat in this podcast room, did a podcast with me after cold calling me on a deal, and ended up getting 9 clients all over the country instantly within 2 days through the YouTube channel, and changing a lot of my contractors in my organization's life, and then creating his own little podcast, the Blue Collar Media Group, man. So I want to say shout out to Patrick Carr. But I think that's the example of what this is all about. And the dark side of winning is, man, I wanted Patrick on my team. And Patrick wants to be his own entrepreneur. And so I did my job. I was able to advance him to the next step. But the dark side of winning is you're hard on yourself. Like, man, sure would like that guy on my team. What could I do differently? And so the reality is, guys, you have to look at this situation in life and say, hey, what sacrifices am I not willing to make? And if it's simply that you're not taking the time to train, then look, don't worry. I was just like you. It was only, a year and a half ago that COVID happened. And I was 4 times I failed 75 hard. I joined this expensive coaching program because I wanted to force myself to finish this program where I needed to stop drinking so much. I needed to get a little bit more control of my organization. I thought more discipline in my life would equal more discipline in my business. So I ended up at the boxing gym. And it's funny, I'm going to go back to that Jake Paul story because, I had this big idea to do a huge event. And, we did it. The Blue Collar American Dream Conference it far exceeded my expectations. But I visualized what we were going to accomplish, how we were going to accomplish it. And inside of that gym over the next, I don't know, it's been almost a year. Whether it's during the workouts or after the workouts, there's always the time where you're looking to your future, you're looking to your wants and needs, and you're asking that higher power, that smarter version of yourself, Jesus, God, whatever religion you are, hey, what's the next step? What's the next move? How do I connect the dots? How are we going to solve this problem? I'm asking myself internally these questions oftentimes after workouts. Ironically, after killing the event, y'all all saw that, I didn't know, what was next. And the reality is that just this week, we've been looking to expand. We want to go on tour across the country. I'm looking to pick up a plane, and lo and behold, it just comes to me. And the reality is that there was some major coincidences there, and it ended up getting us roof job opportunities, potential partnership, and a lot of different things. And all of it was connected through the boxing gym where I was actually working out. And I can't give you too many details, but I could tell you that physically the location, it was what anchored in the plane and multi-million-dollar roofing deals. And inside of that location, I can tell you the law of attraction, the faith that I put into me executing the event is the whole reason why we were able to pull it off. And so I just want to say, the dark side of winning is the pain in the workouts, the pain that you pay in training, the sacrifice of time spent away doing higher performing tasks in my business. But the higher energy level, the higher focus and thought, the higher vibration would then condense time with less effort. And so what do you mean by that? Well, literally the location that the boxing gym is in might be a great roof replacement project for me, and it also connected me to a 13-passenger jet at an incredible value and connected me to one of the most powerful families in Florida. And I'm incredibly grateful for my coach, Billy. But not just that, guys. We had another fighter in here, a guy that fought professionally, almost 20 fights. You might say, Lee, what are you doing all this for? And I tell you, I'm doing it to be the best version of myself. But this interview with Bryce, he said, dude, if you run in a fight, you get hit harder. And I see so many other contractors run from being the best versions of themselves, and they get hit harder in their business, hit harder in their marriage, hit harder in their mental health. And if you run into that beast and you realize, that if you're not going up that mountaintop, that pursuit, meaning if you're not getting better, you're going backwards down that mountain. And sometimes what happens with Big Mo, it's like you're pushing a boulder up the mountain, and you get moving up the mountain. The boulder gets moving up the mountain. You get going about 5 miles an hour, but you start moving backwards down that mountain. That boulder gets heavy. The further that you go down that mountain, the heavier that boulder gets, the harder it gets to turn that momentum back around. And the dark side of winning is that we as winners, champions, can't stand any time that our stock goes down, any time that there's not perfection. And, that dissatisfaction is what drives me, but it also what can drive me crazy. And that's why I got to go to the gym like my other gym, Evolution MMA. Shout out to my teammates over here. Bryce Lawrence about to come in here, professional fighter. But he would love to fight me at the Blue Collar Boot Camp coming up here. You might ask, Lee, what are you doing with this Contractor Fight Club, man? Here's what I'm doing, man. I'm hoping to get more people involved working out physically, boxing fitness. You don't have to get hit in the face. A lot of people at my kickboxing class are just there for the workout and for the fun. And I think it's great for personal development, for fitness, and to prepare yourself for any situation. More importantly, with all the different people out there fighting for attention, I feel like, why not I fight for raising the status of blue-collar entrepreneurs, for getting more attention to the trades, to save the trades industry. I can just imagine myself fighting on fighting Jake Paul, or fighting Logan Paul, or fighting on an undercard there in a boxing gym, and wearing shorts that got more people into the home service industry as a higher purpose. To me, it connects the dots. And, to see guys that want to look from the outside in and say a lot of nasty shit, I just laugh. And I can't wait for some of these guys to show their true colors, because they ain't going to show up. There's been some chatter, but let me tell you something. We told them to just show up. We don't really have any games to play with anybody. If you want to come to Naples, we can roll anytime. We can come to my gym and work out. It don't really matter who you are. I really enjoy the aspect of training together and getting to know people. And when people, that I invite into the gym don't show up, but just think they can beat me up, to me that just shows somebody who wants to talk, who wants clout. And so, look, the update on our fight is probably guy's not going to show up. My guess, if I'm a betting man, is the guy's not going to show up. June 29th, we're having a Blue Collar Boot Camp, and we're going to be doing an exhibition at my boxing gym where I give the guys a boxing workout. Anyone, there's going to be some people here locally that come in and do some sparring rounds for entertainment. It's not going to be about knocking each other out and killing each other. It's going to be more about just an exhibition. It's like what we do. We do a fight night at my gym where we spar, and actually tonight's a sparring night at my MMA gym. So it's fun to watch, and it's a good time. Hopefully it gets more people involved working out. And if the dude talking shit shows up, then it'll be a real good time. June 29th at the Blue Collar Boot Camp. And what is that? Well, dude, I'll tell you what. It's a preview of our Sky Diamonds Elite Coaching Program, and this is my brotherhood of contractors that, make me better, but also over the last 5 years, I've helped guys double, triple, and quadruple their contracting companies without losing their quality of life. And I've done it with the blue collar marketing method, Sky Diamonds University, and the 30-day recruiting challenge. And so what I'm going to be doing over 3 days is giving a tour of my office, taking all of the people in my mastermind through my complete curriculum. And then we're going to do a physical team building exercise where we shoot guns, do a Spartan race. And we did this one time for my team. Maybe you saw it on my YouTube. And so I thought it would be great for all of my clients because it really bonded our team and everybody loved it. Not everybody got in the ring. As a matter of fact, there was only a few RCA Spartans that decided to complete the whole thing and get in the ring at the end of the deal. But that's not what it was about. What it was about was everybody pushing themselves to max out and to kind of anchor the transformation. I want to create a transformational experience for contractors sick and tired of average results. If you're stagnant where you're at, dude, you need proximity to people like me. This energy and vibration, when you get around it, not only are you going to get the how, but you're going to get the example. And if I can do it, you can do it. And I was just look, dude, I've been failed out of college, been arrested many times for dumb stuff like drinking, acting a fool, fighting, pot, you can name it. It's been a while since I've been arrested. I can tell you that, over 10 years. But I've done some dumb shit in the past. And, no one from my high school thought that I was going to be the guy with the bags full of money. And our reality is those bags full of money go into my business. I use the money to love the people. The secret to people who are rich is they stay broke. I continually to invest into real estate. A lot of people right now are looking at the real dip of Bitcoin and the crypto market, and they've been down on crypto. But, dude, I've been buying big time. And this year I feel like is the middle of a bear market and that there's major price manipulation going on from the whales, and that so many of the biggest whales out there in the world were caught going all in when Bitcoin is down to $35,000. And so what does that mean to me? It means that by the end of the year, in my prediction, Bitcoin could be $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 easily. And so, I don't know what you're doing for your American dream as far as your investments, but you should be figuring out how to make more money, use that money to grow your business. If you think about the cash flow quadrant from Kiyosaki, there's employees, small business, big business, and investor. And most of us are almost employees in our own business, contractors, guys that sell our own jobs. Then you got small business guys. Well, small business is any business that has less than 500 employees. And right now I'm borderline small business, big business, because I've got maybe all the different part-time and full-time sales associates, 200. Between all the different roofing crews, 200. Between Sky Diamonds University and all the different affiliates, 30, 40 people. So we're going into this category of big business. And let me tell you the difference. Look, once you have an army of people that are multiplying your effort and purpose, the exponential amount of impact that you're able to make in the world, it's different than just providing a service. It's different than just selling projects. Because you can have high income, high impact, and you can also have high quality of life because you have leveraged time through decentralized command. And that's really what I want to show people is how we've been able to go from a guy where, I made a lot of money, but I wasn't saving it. I wasn't building real wealth. I wasn't top 10 roofer in America. And it was figuring out this blue collar marketing method, this 30-day recruiting challenge, this Sky Diamonds University online platform to teach all the guys in a uniform sales process that changed it. Now, we've been able to generate 9 figures in results for our clients or more. And, I want to give you 5 different case studies. If you haven't seen the case studies, go to tothemooncontractor.com. If you're watching this right now, go to tothemooncontractor.com. I can tell you that we want you at this boot camp. We have a limited number of spaces, and it's limited to the people who want to get into this elite program. So if you go to this tothemooncontractor.com, look at the case studies of guys who's been through the program, doubled, tripled, quadrupled, sold, made millions of dollars with my program, then go ahead and fill out the application to see if you want to be one of those guys. And even if you want to sample and come to this blue collar boot camp as a sample to the event, what that's going to do is, man, it's going to give you front row seats to a transformational experience. You're going to get tickets inside of my office. You're going to see, we have a supplement department, a collections department. The accounting department grew, but more importantly, this week in Naples, they had $1 million in sales in 1 week. So my office in Naples is doing $1 million a week sometimes in sales. And it's also the hub for 8 different locations. And that's really something that was really cool to me when I went and visited Andy Frisella's office. And I saw how his culture and his brand and his core values are all intertwined into everything that they do. And it was an important thing for me to be around other successful entrepreneurs in that environment, because it created a transformational, simple lesson for me, some shit I already knew. But I've literally, since I got back, gotten real serious about taking my game to the next level, and I want you to do the same thing. I want you to come to the Blue Collar Boot Camp. Maybe you'll get the opportunity to see this loco noco show up here and get his brains knocked out. I'd be happy to do that, pick him up, shake his hand, give him a hug afterwards, okay? Because then the reality is the kid's a good salesman, and he deserves a good mentor. Sometimes a good mentor, though, gives you a dose of humble pie. And nobody's going to die in that movie. And so it's going to be a great time. And so if you come out June 28th, 29th, 30th, you're going to get a complete tour of my office. You're going to get 2 days, me going through my complete curriculum, sales, marketing, operations, leadership. Plus, you're going to get some fun shit no one else can get anywhere else. And we're going to go to my boxing gym. We're going to have an exhibition fight night. We're also going to be doing an awesome little Spartan race. And that Spartan race is going to be off the chain, man. It's the rumble in the jungle for a reason. I don't know if you saw the episode on the YouTube where we're going to be doing it at, but I think that everyone needs to be sharpening up their skills, because inflation right now, dude, plywood, I just talked to ABC Supply, and they were telling me, dude, they can't even get big volume, big bulk sheets of plywood for less than $60 a sheet. So plywood's going to go $70, $80 a sheet. They can't get nails. So production of roofing is going to be stopped because the nails in China are not getting shipped to America. And with China being the number one supplier of nails, if your business doesn't get a storm and you can't build roofs, what are you going to do in the future? And you have to be able to evolve. And, last year my business implemented a solar division. For us, building a retail roofing and retail solar division, figuring out how to generate leads and create viral local growth in our 8 locations, sort of like made it to where we didn't have to be dependent on chasing storms. Even if there's not a hurricane this year, my business will have its best year of all time. And it's funny because I've spent more time this year on my hobbies, on my family, and on creating a movement in the Blue Collar American Dream Conference that's about to go on a world tour. And when I say world tour, we're going to Australia, we're going to United Kingdom, we're helping all contractors across the country. I'm going to be enlightening them to the opportunity of the storm restoration marketplace in America. And I'm going to be partnering directly with 1 to 3 people in every single major market in America to build the wealthiest organization in roofing history. And that's the goal. That's where I'm going. If you want to know, Lee, why this is a real thing I've had to deal with. This is my biggest challenge. Too much opportunity. My company used to be just a regular guy. I wanted to be one of the big guys. We were doing 8 million, 9 million, sometimes over 10 million a year, but we weren't always making as much money as we should have. And I was feeling like, kind of even though I'd been in the business probably 5, 6, 7 years, had some success, I felt like a failure. It's one of the dark sides of winning is you feel like a failure even when you're winning, because you try and compare yourself to the greatest of all time. And there's really no winning for me until there's an undisputed greatest of all time. And it's kind of fucked up. I mean, isn't it? But it's really what drives me. And so I can just tell you now, all right, 5 years later, all right, I've been coaching contractors, and listen, we get insane results for every single person in the Skydimes Elite program. You can come into my program. We can get you a recruiting funnel set up. Within 60 days, I can almost guarantee 5 sales guys are highly functional and producing in your business. And I used to make promises when I first started this program that I couldn't keep And they were about helping you get 5 sales guys. And it's funny that it took 5 years to become a master of getting every single person that comes into my business, Sky Diamond's Elite, 5 sales guys through the recruiting funnel. But it's something I can almost guarantee every time. Next, I didn't know when I first started coaching about how to advertise on social and how to use video and how to create content and this video shit. And so, as we get guys into the program, all these ads that we use, they're all from other successful ad campaigns. We have them all into scripts. I give people my scripts. We get people like Mammoth Contracting. This guy read my book. He uses my scripts. He comes in my program. He's getting 50 leads, 60 leads within the first month, closing 20, 30 deals. He's using some of the story branding techniques all over TV. He's becoming the dominant local brand. His business is on track to triple in sales. He's only 3 months into the program, and I can already see this guy at the next Blue Collar American Dream Conference picking up the light heavyweight championship belt for growth, going from $5 million to $15 million. I see it right now. Mammoth Contracting out of San Antonio. And that's really what I think you might be. But you might be second-guessing, overthinking, analysis paralysis. And, that's why I want to give you a tour of my office. I want to give you a discount. I want to let you get a sneak peek of the Sky Diamond's Elite program. I want to take you through my curriculum, through the whole thing. And at the end of the 3-day experience, what you're going to find is that you're absolutely insane not to take me up on the last few positions, because the Sky Diamond's Elite program has only got a limited number of spots because there's a transformation coming. The transformation coming is the Roofing Professionals Network. It's the direct partnership with a limited number of people in each location, and it's me being able to give you guaranteed set appointments, guaranteed salespeople, and me being a partner in not just the small jobs, but the large jobs in your market long term. And so this transformation of going from guy who's here to charge other roofing contractors, dude, I'm going to be creating more free content. I'm going to be putting the stuff that we used to charge millions of dollars for inside of Sky Diamonds University. I'm going to put it on the internet for free. We're putting it out for free like crazy over the last year on this YouTube channel. That's why you should like, subscribe. If you're on Facebook watching this, you should go over to YouTube because there's an incredible amount of stuff. Just had Jay, my content guy, and Nick over here as a tag team over the last 2 weeks. We've got 14 videos to edit while I take off to Costa Rica. So stay tuned. It's going to be epic. We've got a tour of the office video coming up. We've got more information on the boot camp. We've got some incredible new things on the forefront with big guys, interviews in this podcast. So I just want everybody to know the American Dream's not dead. And I think it's my purpose to save the trades and save the blue-collar people that, are kind of frustrated looking at the price of diesel go up to $9 a gallon, kind of frustrated looking at the price of wood going up $70 a sheet. I know some small builders here in Naples that had to stop production of their massive growth and organization because, a truss package that used to cost $6,000 is costing $18,000 now, and they couldn't calculate it in a pre-contracted build. And this is right before, things really went belly up last time and we had a massive recession. This is what it looked like. So I want you to know one thing. Warren Buffett has a quote, and Warren Buffett says that, everybody that's when the tide goes, everybody who's swimming without their bathing suit gets exposed. And if you don't have a digital marketing plan, if you don't have a way to be a local contractor, if you don't have systems and processes that allow you to generate businesses without dependent on storms, then you're going to get ate alive by inflation. You're going to get ate alive by the competition. You're going to get ate alive by the Sky Diamonds Elite contractors that take advantage of my offer and kick your ass because we're training, we're using shit that works, and they're growing like crazy. And if you want to know who these guys are and you want to copy everything they do, click the link below. Go to tothemooncontractor.com. These guys are literally some of the best guys in the market. Doesn't matter what kind of contractor you are, a retail contractor, roofer, general contractor. There's examples from each type of trade. And if you're looking to get into a business, that's really what the new push is for me, is to certify people getting into my industry, to certify people in this home service industry. And so I'm going to be creating more content for people that are trying to just get started And, that's really as a result of after doing this 5 years, we've had some massive results. So I don't have to worry as much about selling content that makes me a lot of money. And so I'm very grateful for that. But people that give me a hard time about always making an offer have to understand one thing. How you think we pay the bills and keep this motherfucking machine going? And let me tell you how. Results. We generate the best results in the best business. You want to get attention in your business? Win. That's how you get attention. You continue to win. And so if you want to know how my system works, then go to tothemooncontractor.com. I encourage you to come to the boot camp. My friend Bryce just came in here. Y'all come check out this podcast. I know my man Jake's not going to show up to fight, but Bryce is hoping that he gets to whoop my ass in front of all y'all, because I promise you he will, but I'll hold up my hands and I'll take it like a man. So anyways, I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.